but it reads Shane McMahon. And I went back and I remembered some of those matches. I mean, Ric Flair versus Sting. Ric Flair talks about that match a lot, where he was very upset that he didn't uphold his end of that match, with Sting being the last match on Nitro. Because, again, remember, the first match ever on Nitro in the Mall of the Americas, remember Lex Luger came out, was Sting versus Ric Flair as well. The last match, Sting versus Ric Flair, but two very different Ric Flairs from beginning to end. We come back, we're going to dive into the week that was AEW, and we're going to look at some releases, or, well, actually one big release to me from the WWE. I guess the WWE didn't think so. But it's their loss and another company's gain. Heat and NBA fans, catch Ira Winderman here exclusively at OnSideRadio.com with our Acura of Pembroke Pines Miami Heat reports. Catch Ira throughout the week at OnSideRadio.com. And when news breaks, basketball fans know Onside Radio is the place you get the insight you need.
Listen to OnSideRadio.com anywhere by downloading the MyTuner Radio app in your app store. Or go to MyTunerRadio.com on your web browser. OnSideRadio.com. South Florida sports leader.
She's kind of a big deal. Some people like to say it's only because of how she looks. She sticks her tongue out a lot. But there's just something about her that makes people do crazy things, like get tattoos of her face, or wait in line for hours just to say hi. Lil Bub is a 2-year-old cat, an Instagram celebrity with a following bigger than some 90s television stars. And it all started because she was adopted. You can't buy a best friend like Lil Bub, but you can adopt one. Help us save them all at bestfriends.org.
Hey, is that a faucet running?
Nope, that's not a faucet. That's a river rushing through the forest.
It is?
Yeah, forest rivers provide over 100 million people with clean water to drink. The water comes straight from the forest to us. In fact...
What? I can't hear you because of the vacuum.
That's not a vacuum. That's the trees in the forest cleaning up the air we breathe.
How do trees clean the air?
They soak up the dirty air on their leaves, branches, and trunks, which means clean air for us.
Cool. I didn't know that.
Yep, but the forest does more than give us clean air and water. It gives us shade for hot days, birds to listen to, and trees to climb.
Wow, that's awesome. I didn't know how cool the forest could be. Hey, let's go explore some more.
Visit the forest today and enjoy all it does, just for you. To learn more about the forest and find one near you, go to discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
If you missed 4th and 20 with Toast and Marsh, you missed.
The things that men will do to their junk blows me away.
It's
like
idiotic.
People will, Prince Albert's just...
I don't know it.
A Prince Albert? You don't know what a Prince Albert is? Prince Albert is when you have them pierce your manhood through like the, like a giant, just, steel rod. On that note.
4th and 20 with Toast and Marsh, weekday mornings from 8 to 10.
Big news, Miami fans! Body Armor is proud to be the new official sports drink of Major League Soccer and Inter Miami CF. It doesn't matter if you're a player or a fan, Body Armor sports drink will hydrate you with potassium-packed electrolytes, antioxidants, and no artificial sweeteners, flavors, or dyes. Whether you're at home or in the starting lineup, Body Armor sports drink will hydrate you from kickoff to the final whistle. Body Armor, now the official sports drink of Inter Miami CF, available at your local Publix.
With Make-A-Wish, the impossible becomes possible. A girl battling cancer can become a race car driver battling the course. The boy showing all the nurses his fire trucks can take the helm of a real one. Wishes can give kids with critical illnesses the strength to keep fighting, get better, and grow up.
Where there's a wish, there's a way.
Wishes need you. Visit Make-A-Wish at wish.org.
There are those who dedicate themselves to a sense of honor, to a life of courage, and a commitment to something greater than themselves. They have always defended this nation and each other. They still do.
Welcome back to the Squared Circle Digest. To text the show, 844-416-8123. That's 844-416-8123. Here's your host, Sean Stanley.
Don't forget you can take Onside Radio wherever you go. You can download free apps, radio.net, Podbean, Radio FM, MyTuner Radio, Simple Radio, Zeno Radio. Download any of the free apps and listen to your Onside Radio host. Visit the website onsideradio.com to find all the links. You can take us on the go, all your hosts. Don't forget our programming tomorrow, also back on air 7 a.m. Sunday Sports Drop. And then at 9, it's Juan on Juan. Got Hockey Talk coming up next with Chirping the Cats Radio with David Dwork. And then Little Football with Austin Robillard and Red Card Radio. I want to dive in now. AEW. Main event. And this is where I think AEW is understanding their audience, right? Darby Allin right now is the TNT champion, right? He's on the TNT champion. He's working. They brought out the TNT, challenge. John Silver from the Dark Order accepts, and I thought they had a great match. John Silver showed, and he has been showing. I don't even know why. I kind of put down here showing he can go against Darby Allin in the main event, but he's been showing that, right? When you look at Being the Elite show, you see how entertaining he is, right? John Silver he understands what he is. He gets it, and he portrayed that. And unfortunately, he suffered a shoulder injury, so he's going to be out of action 4 to 6 weeks. But now, I want to see what AEW does. Because he can do so much more than just be in ring. I mean, how many times has he been on Dynamite? He hasn't been on Dynamite a whole lot. Wrestling. Entertaining-wise, yes, your promos, your backstage, him coming out, you see him all the time, and I tremendous. He does a tremendous job. QT Marshall, they're kind of they're bringing out this side of QT, going a different direction than what I thought they were going to do, honestly. I thought they were going to have Lee Johnson, I think Lee Johnson, right, was the student. And I thought they were going to have something to where QT ends up turning on him a little bit. Now, fast forward a few weeks, and now he's going to get an exhibition match against his best friend, Cody. And it's going to be an exhibition. You saw Cody come out with his arm in a sling and kind of accept the exhibition. Very interested to see what AEW does with this. Because, again, now you can take this in so many different directions. This is where I like what AEW does. And I don't know if it's Cody, if it's the Bucks, if it's Omega, if it's Tony Khan, combination of everybody. I believe, if reports are correct, they get input from a lot of the talent as well. But you can see how everybody is kind of on the same page, but they have different ways. They're not painted into a corner with a lot of their writing the way that I was talking about WWE and what they've done with Randy Orton and The Fiend. They've not done that with a lot of their stuff. When you watch their angles and how they go, you think you might have the answer, but they also leave a little out, if you will, to where they can also hit a U-turn and go a different direction, which I think is happening here with the QT Marshall situation. And again, maybe they just let it be an exhibition, and in the exhibition, somehow QT fails, which now starts him getting even madder, and he doesn't really do anything with Cody. But they left it wide open. And that allows, as a fan, to believe that other things can happen. I'm not just narrow eye set on okay, what's this match going to be? No, because there's going to be maybe an outside interference here, maybe a cheat here. They can go so many different directions. Arn Anderson, think about this. When the Pinnacle, it wasn't even the Pinnacle at that point. It was Shawn Spears, FTR, Tully Blanchard, right? It was the pay-per-view, actually, Revolution. When they were standing in the ring, did anybody expect Arn Anderson to come out? Did you expect him to come to the curtain? And then to throw up the 4 fingers? And then to give the "I'm watching you"? That got my mind thinking that, oh, wait a minute. Cody might be the leader of this group. Then what do they do on AEW Dynamite? No, it's MJF. MJF is the leader of the Pinnacle. Can they still add people? Of course. But again, this is where AEW has written their programming to where it's not just A goes to B, B goes to C. No, A could lead to D, and then they'll backtrack to B, hit C now to get to F. And that is what allows it to be such a fun program to watch, because you don't know exactly what's going to happen. And their matches are usually out ahead of time. You know what's happening next week on a show. You're not finding out Monday afternoon that challenges are being issued. No, I know a week in advance. My mind's already running. Darby Allin defending the title against John Cena. I was like, oh, this match is going to be great. All the things that could happen. The Dark Order, could they interfere? Sting comes out. All that allows, because it builds up the anticipation, the excitement, because they get it. And I'm not saying that WWE doesn't get it, but I feel like they've lost a lot of the touch of what the audience wants to see. I don't want to go so far as say they don't care. It's getting to that point. Because if you want to watch wrestling on Monday night, what are you watching? Raw. If you want to watch wrestling on Friday night, what are you watching? SmackDown. And the whole thing about the competition, and I know people don't like the competition word, and I don't either. But let's look at something real quick. WWE NXT has been averaging about 600, 700,000. You have AEW sometimes gets up into the million. We're around about 900,000, right? So total, you got about 1.6 million. 1.6. Neither one of those. Raw's, I think, at about 1.7 consistently. And SmackDown is at about 1.8 consistently. The two shows on Wednesday are not even in the same ballpark as the show on Friday and Monday. So until those numbers are there, the people that want to call it a competition, which I don't think even AEW calls it a competition, they put out the best product that they can every week. That's their goal. And they're succeeding at that goal, which is why their numbers stay and go up. They're not going down. They're not having to book pay-per-view style match, although they do book pay-per-view style matches on Dynamite, but they're not having to do that to draw the audience in, which you see NXT doing. When they want a big number, what do? Oh, let's break out all the superstars. Let's bring some of the Raw or SmackDown guys down, and let's get some talent in. The Elite, the drama that's going on there with the Young Bucks, Kenny Omega. Looks like the Young Bucks finally made their decision and left Omega. The Good Brothers come out, help him out after the Lucha Brothers leave him laying. And again, the thing that AEW does, and this is one of the things that I think maybe because all the executives are younger, they use social media so well. You have the 2 shows on YouTube channel right now, AEW Dark Elevation and AEW Dark. But then you also have the Being the Elite show. And I watched the last one that they just had. And Matt Hardy tells Matt Jackson that he was the one that texted, not Hangman, because remember, the whole thing started with Hangman and the Bucks about the text and everything else. The episode ended with Matt looking to go talk to Hangman, but Hangman was already dancing with the Dark Order. It's like he kind of moved on from the Bucks, from the Elite, right? But they have taken a show like Being the Elite on social media, which has a big following before even AEW, and they are enlisting the help of those programs to extend storylines throughout AEW. And then you see it play out on TNT, their YouTube channels. Again, aligning all their social medias for one result. Getting eyes on the product. And that's what they do. And didn't even get into Britt Baker, so we'll definitely have to look at that at another time because she, Big Tony was the one that actually asked me if I thought her losing hurted her credibility and everything there. No. This week she said, I put AEW on the map. Those 3 letters, AEW, comes second to the most epic 3 in all of pro wrestling, DMD. And that, to me, solidified what she means to AEW. She is the top woman heel in AEW, and she's working her way as the top heel in AEW. Miami Dolphin fans can always count on the best coverage at OnsideRadio.com. Every week, keep up with your favorite team as Dolphins writer Omar Kelly joins us with exclusive reports. When news breaks, catch the EJDeconstruction.com Miami Dolphins report on the home for Dolphins fans everywhere, OnsideRadio.com. Coming up, David Dork, Chirping the Cats, next.
Find the podcast for the Squared Circle Digest on all podcasting platforms. Please subscribe, rate, and review the podcast.
She's kind of a big deal. Some people like to say it's only because of how she looks. She sticks her tongue out a lot. But there's just something about her that makes people do crazy things, like get tattoos of her face, or wait in line for hours just to say hi. Lil Bub is a 2-year-old cat, an Instagram celebrity with a following bigger than some 90s television stars. And it all started because she was adopted. You can't buy a best friend like Lil Bub, but you can adopt one. Help us save them all at bestfriends.org.
Inter Miami CF, your official furniture and mattress store, is here. City Furniture is your #1 home source for the trends you want at the prices you'll love, including exclusive City Furniture collections, the widest selection of styles, affordable home accents, mattresses starting at just $99 and more. Create the home of your dreams fast with next-day delivery, plus get 60 months special financing with no down payment. Because City Furniture is here to make it easy so everyone can live life like this, visit cityfurniture.com.
Let's raise a cup to the first among us who put themselves last. To the risk takers, the mask makers, the heroes on the front line and online. To the ones keeping shelves full and keeping us hopeful. To those who don't stop and those making all the stops. To the ones who pick up, suit up, and never let us down. From all of us at Duncan to all the heroes keeping everyone running, we thank you.
I'm Ryan Seacrest. When you call 911 and ask for help, first responders show up. Now, let's show up for the people who show up for us every day and every night.
Go to firstrcf.org to learn more.
Sundays at OnsideRadio.com continues to provide you the kind of sports talk South Florida fans desire. Every Sunday at 7 a.m., tune in to the Sunday Sports Drop with Jazz Santana. Catch Jazz every week as he takes your calls and discusses the biggest stories in sports. That's the Sunday Sports Drop, 7 to 9 a.m., exclusively at OnsideRadio.com.
On the battlefield, there's a saying America's military men and women live by. Never leave a fallen warrior behind. Ever. Off the battlefield, Wounded Warrior Project operates with the same goal. Wounded Warrior Project was created to help our men and women returning home with the scars of war, whether those scars are physical or mental. Wounded Warrior Project. We never leave a fallen warrior behind. Ever. Learn more about what we do at woundedwarriorproject.org.
Big news, Miami fans! Body Armor is proud to be the new official sports drink of Major League Soccer and Inter Miami CF. It doesn't matter if you're a player or a fan, Body Armor sports drink will hydrate you with potassium-packed electrolytes, antioxidants, and no artificial sweeteners, flavors, or dyes. Whether you're at home or in the starting lineup, Body Armor sports drink will hydrate you from kickoff to the final whistle. Body Armor, now the official sports drink of Inter Miami CF, available at your local Publix.
I'm Ryan Seacrest. When you call 911 and ask for help, first responders show up. Now, let's show up for the people who show up for us every day and every night.
Go to firstrcf.org to learn more.
These are unprecedented times, challenging how the YMCA works to strengthen community as we have for nearly 170 years. But we've always found ways to help people and communities in times of crisis. Right now, Ys across the country are providing emergency childcare, shelter, food programs, and outreach to seniors. But we can't do it alone. Whether you're connected to the Y or have a fond Y memory, we need you to stay with us. Reach out to your local Y today and stay with us for a better us.
Welcome back to the Squared Circle Digest. To call the show, 888-441-4623. That's 888-441-4623. Here's your host, Sean Stanley.
Wrapping up the hour here on Squared Circle Digest. I want to thank Abel for producing the full hour. Forgot to say he was driving the show at the very beginning, so I apologize, Abel. But thank you for your contributions of allowing me and these beautiful dulcet-tone voices on the radio. And I'm not even sure if I used that correctly. So if I didn't, I'm going to move on right now and talk about Andrade being released from WWE this past Sunday night. After the pay-per-view came out, the one thing that caught me off guard with this whole thing was that he got he did not get a 90-day no-compete clause, which means he's free to wrestle right away. He had requested his trade. It was denied. Or his trade. He requested his release. It was denied. Then, less than, 2 days later, I guess, he does get his release. And then they give him a no 90-day no-compete clause. A lot of people think I thought was going to show up at Ring of Honor. He did not, which apparently, per Fightful.com reporting that was actually recorded last week, which is possibly why he did not show there. Now all eyes, I guess, kind of go to Aleister Black, and let's see if he returns to WWE TV, as he's been off since October. So we'll see what happens. Speaking of releases, I'm going to bring in David Dwork from Chirping the Cats Radio. He's coming away next. Panthers had a release this week, I believe.
They did waive Anton Strawman, so he will we'll find out in about 2 hours for sure. But I don't think he'll be claimed by anybody because he's still got $5.5 million the rest of this year and next year. So, yeah, that's the second veteran player that they've waived this season. They did the same with Brett Connolly, who was put back in the taxi squad 2 days ago as well. So it's interesting that they're working the taxi squad. You gotta work with the tools that you're given, right?
Is that what this is, though? This is kind of just inner workings of what they're having to work with by waiving and releasing and kind of, I guess, bringing back the taxi squad. I'm not understanding the whole thing of how it works. So
yeah, I mean, basically, for guys like this who are like established NHL players with one-way contracts, if you waive them, I mean, anybody you waive, you're exposing, and anybody can pick them up. If somebody picks them up, they have to keep them on their roster.
Okay.
So that's the the little snafu or whatever to it. So Florida waiving a guy like Brett Connolly, a guy like Anton Strawman, they both have time, money, and term left on their deal, so it's unlikely they get picked up. However, on the flip side, what is it saying about a couple of guys who just were signed last summer, or summer 2019, by Dale Talon, his last summer with the team, and now they're so expendable that they're being waived? Like, that's what their place is on the roster right now.
Wow, that's... what do you got coming up on the show real quick?
I want to get into, obviously, the big Panther news this week was Sasha Barkov getting injured, out with a lower body injury. Hopefully we'll be back today or tomorrow. Q said there's a chance he comes back this weekend, but we got to talk about the impact of losing Barkov, because we saw 2 games without him, and it's a little scary. Especially the Tuesday game where he came out for warm-ups and then he was like a late scratch, and I think the shell shock of losing your best player just reverberated from top to bottom because they looked like a completely different team than we'd seen all year. And granted, like, it's not like you take their best player out and, you know, all of a sudden they're going to be, it's fine, no big deal. No, you lose your best player, it's going to hit you. We'll see how sustainable it is. Hopefully he'll be back, but I think it also may have opened the front office's eyes a little bit as to maybe we could use a little bit extra. Maybe we could use a little insurance policy should an injury pop up.
Now, well, you're probably talking about your show, but is that a possibility? Is there a trade deadline in the NHL, or when
the trade deadline is in 9 days?
9 days. So the NBA just ended, and now you got the NHL coming up.
A week from Monday.
April 12th. If you had one guy, who would you take?
Oof.
And he was available. I mean,
of course. You know, there's a couple of guys. Obviously, the big name is Evgeny Malkin that I keep going back towards, only because he doesn't really have that much money left. He'd be a good addition. He'd be some center depth. Obviously, he can score. He wants to be here. His wife and his kid live down here. And they want him down here. So he wants to be in South Florida. And so if they can make that work, if Pittsburgh is willing to kind of say, you know what, we're not looking at, because why would they give up Malkin when they're trying to make a playoff run themselves? And then there's also Luke Glendening in Detroit, who Florida Hockey Now writer George Richards kind of turned me on to earlier this week as a possible availability for some depth down the middle as well. So we'll just have to see how it plays out, because they've got, like I said, they've got 9 days. A little scare this week, losing Barkov and seeing, oh shit, this is what could happen. So I think that might play a part.
Yeah, we definitely look like a whole different team. He'll have that and a lot more coming up on Chirping the Cats Radio with David Dwork. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. I'll be back here next Saturday, 9 a.m. Squared Circle Digest. Chirping the Cats Radio. David Dwork coming up next right here at OnSideRadio.com.
This is the official home of Inter Miami CF.
Higuain will now take. His strike is a decent one. It's fired into the top right corner. Gonzalo Higuain opens his account for Inter Miami.
OnSideRadio.com. Follow us on social media at OnSide Radio.
Hey, it's Big O for EJD Construction, your custom home builder, additions and home remodeling. Our lives have changed. We're making our homes more of an oasis. Call the right place. Call the right people. Eric at EJD Construction for over 16 years. A-rated member of Angie's List in the Better Business Bureau. 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDconstruction.com.
You can't buy a best friend. You can love them, walk them, pet them, and care for them, whether they want you to or not. You can take a picture or 50. You can fly to the moon, travel the world, or just stay in bed. You can't buy a best friend like that, but you can adopt one. There are millions of pets waiting for a best friend just like you. Help us save them all at bestfriends.org.
I'm 54, so basically, it's too late to start saving for retirement, right?
Not right. Starting to save, even in your 50s, can really make a difference.
Well, right now, saving seems hard to wrap my head around. Plus, with the way this year's been going...
Hey, listen, it's okay. You still got this. Just go to aceyourretirement.org. It's an online tool from AARP that can help you get your retirement savings on track no matter your age. It's free and only takes about 3 minutes.
I like 3 minutes.
Yeah, at aceyourretirement.org, you'll chat with Avo, the friendly digital retirement coach. Just answer a few questions and you'll get a personalized plan and tips to help boost your retirement savings. Tips that are easy to understand and tailored to your lifestyle.
I like that too.
Plus, it's sponsored by AARP, so you know they got your back. Just head to aceyourretirement.org and make your plan to start saving for retirement.
Thanks.
That's aceyourretirement.org. A message from AARP and the Ad Council.
OnSideRadio.com knows gamers need a home.
Can you dig it?
That's why for the next 60 seconds,
Can you count, sucker?
Yes!
Here's your Onside Radio E-Report with Toast.
The NCAA has announced plans for an esports tournament series so gamers can get collegiate exposure with chances at scholarships. The first tournament will be a 10-conference Fortnite tourney that will take place in May. And the 31st Southeast Asian Games will be held in November, and for the second straight year, esports will be a medal event. There will be 10 esports competitions across 8 titles, including League of Legends, FIFA Online 4, and Wild Rift. Before you get excited and think Call of Duty will one day be a medal event in the Summer Olympics, the IOC's recent agenda put a focus on virtual sports as opposed to traditional competitive gaming titles. Happy gaming.
Stay in touch in the world of gaming with the Onside Radio E-Report. Time to talk all things Florida Panthers with insider David Dwork. It's the ice time you've been waiting for, Panthers fans. Here's your host, David Dwork, with Chirping the Cats Radio.
Good morning, South Florida hockey fans. What up? Chirping the Cats Radio live. Hi, it's up. Inter Miami CF Stadium. Florida Panthers hockey is on the air. Real quick, before we get into the show, I do just want to say real quick, just kind of got put around that Howard Schnellenberger has passed away at 87 years old. Obviously, if you're a South Florida you don't have to be a South Florida sports fan, but many of us down here have been obviously following Coach Schnellenberger's career from his time with the Miami Dolphins, the perfect season, to what he did for the University of Miami, what he's done really for college football in South Florida in general. So just a quick moment to honor Coach Schnellenberger there, as his family announced this morning that he passed away at the age of 87. So rest in peace, Coach. And thoughts to his family as well. Okay, back to the hockey part of the show. The first thing I want to get into today is, it's really the big story of the week, right? Obviously, Florida has now lost 3 in a row. It's their first really extended streak of adversity this year. Some tough games in Chicago, but not even so much the underlying issue, the highlighted issue, the big issue, the big kahuna of perhaps why they faltered all week, and that was their captain, their top-line center, their best player, Sasha Barkov, the team announced shortly before face-off Tuesday that he would be a scratch. He went out for warm-ups for a little while, was out there for, I guess, about 4 or 5 minutes, came off the ice, and he has not been back on the ice since. They do have a morning skate coming up in about 2.5 hours, 12:30 local time, ahead of their game tonight against the Dallas Stars. Barkov may or may not be in the lineup tonight. We will find out from Coach Quenneville. Perhaps we'll find out from Coach Quenneville at 12:30. I think it was pretty eye-opening to see how the team has, compared to the way they've played all year, how they struggled without Barkov. They've been extremely consistent all year. They've flowed. We've talked about it ad nauseum. Rolling 4 lines, the depth, the pressure, the puck possession. And, yeah, without Barkov, you would think just maybe the one line would struggle, but the way that the move echoes throughout the lineup, the way that every line was apparently shaken up. I mean, the one line that wasn't interrupted much during the 2 games was the second line, the Wenberg, Huberdeau, Hornquist line, but nobody could seem to get anything going. You combine the fact that Barkov has been hurt with Huberdeau in a bit of a slump, which we'll talk about later in the show. It's just a hurricane of shit. And the